We are hearing some graphic testimony in the Sean Diddy Combs trial. Under the pseudonym Jane, Diddy's ex-girlfriend is breaking down on the witness stand, describing so-called hotel nights, which she says were years of drug-fueled sex parties she never truly agreed to. Combs has pleaded not guilty to all charges, and his defense team says any sexual encounters were consensual. ABC's Rena Roy and legal contributor and trial attorney Brian Buckmeyer are outside the courthouse with more. So, Rena, what's the latest here?
Well, Diane, Jane is sobbing through much of her testimony this morning, and the jury a short time ago got a chance to see some of the text messages between Jane and Sean Diddy Combs. Some of them were loving, some of them were sexually explicit, but prosecutors really seemed to be focused on one from later in their relationship when Jane tried to communicate her true feelings about those so-called hotel nights, when she says Combs forced her into having sex with male prostitutes in front of him. And Jane read her message out loud to the jury, which said in part, "I don't want to play this role in your life anymore. It's dark, sleazy, and it makes me feel disgusted. I don't want to play this role out of fear of losing the roof over my head." And Combs' response was, "Girl, stop." She says he threatened to stop paying her rent if she didn't oblige with his sexual demands. And she also talked about what she said was the longest hotel night. She took jurors back to New Year's Eve in 2022 when she testified that the sex marathon lasted for 3.5 days and that she was only able to get through it using drugs like ecstasy. She said once she even threw up after having sex with 2 male escorts, and that Combs came in and she told him that she had thrown up, and he said, "That's good, you'll feel better," because the 3rd escort had arrived, she said.
Brian, the jury is also seeing these sexually explicit text messages that Jane sent to Diddy. She's testifying that she wanted to play into his fantasies and she didn't want to disappoint him. How hard is it for the prosecution to prove this part of the case without reasonable doubt when she herself is saying that at times she acquiesced and didn't openly protest because she wanted to make him happy? She didn't want to disappoint him.
Yeah, so the jury hearing not only text messages, but also hearing some audio files as well with similar language. And that is a difficult part for the prosecution, something I think the defense is going to jump on when they have an opportunity for cross-examination. But it comes down to consent and what she wanted at that time. And what they're trying to relay is, although these messages were very flirtatious and sexual in nature, that she had given signs, not just in terms of the words, but her body language, that she did not want to have sexual intercourse with other men. Now, going back to what Rena said with that earlier statement of wanting to keep a roof over her head, I can see the defense really getting into this witness by saying that they started dating in 2021, a lease wasn't signed until April 4th of 2023, and also talking about other potential sources of income, knowing that she is a single mother and could have gone and asked for funds from the father of that child or other resources. I think the coercion of using that money might be a contentious aspect of this case as the testimony continues.
Rena, what are you watching for next?
Well, Diane, Jane is expected to be on the stand for up to 5 days, with direct examination expected to last until Monday. So it's clear that the prosecution is really taking their time with Jane because she is a key part to their case. Now, she is the second woman after Cassie Ventura to describe this larger-than-life romance with Combs that turned into years of unwanted sex. So they're trying to show that this was a pattern of behavior from Combs.
Brian, how do you think the defense is going to handle Jane's testimony on cross-examination based on what she's said on the stand so far?
So we know that Alexandra Shapiro will be the one cross-examining Jane based on the fact that she's making the objections. And I think what they're going to do is that they're going to look at this relationship, when it started, what resources she had. And I think the focus on resources, because the government is saying that keeping that roof over her head, giving her that $10,000 a month allowance was what really kept her in this relationship. That's the fraud or the coercion or the force that they're attaching to the sex trafficking. And they're going to try to show, I believe, that she was in it to try to get a close relationship with Sean Combs, that she was in it, as she stated earlier, because she had issues with the father of her child, and so did Sean Combs, and that's what helped bond the two of them together, and that this was not about sex trafficking or force or fraud or anything like that, but instead trying to make a better life for herself and her son, something she alluded to about wanting that house with that big yard.
All right, Rena Roy, Brian Buckmeyer, thank you both.